Please remain standing. The prayer that I'm about to say has been delivered for over 100 years at each commencement over which my grandmother, my mother, Mrs. Fleming, or I have presided. It's in the back of the program. Our Father, as we come to the parting, we humbly give thee thanks for the days of our gathering. We thank thee for the real work accomplished, for the friendships made, for inspiration for future work. We beseech thee to set thy seal upon what we have done and make it strong and beautiful. We thank thee for the quickening of old friendships, for new and fruitful contacts, and for the broadened understanding of our common work. We pray thee for fresh devotion to the great aims and possibilities of our lives, for unfeigned love for our fellow workers, and for deep longing to save and ennoble those whose lives we touch. Make us worthy to bear thy message. And now, as we turn our faces forward toward the toil and care, the trials and temptations of our work, we feel our need of thee, thou great companion of our souls. Be thou the strength of our weakness, the wisdom of our foolishness, the triumph of our failures, and the changeless unity in our changing days. Knowing the brevity of our years, help us to work resolutely while it is day. Shine upon us, thou sun of our life, even in the valley of the shadow, and may the song of faith never die in our hearts. We make our petition to the Almighty and merciful God, creator and sustainer of the physical and moral universe, whose love and justice know no bounds and extend to all nations and races. Amen. Please remain standing for the Swiss National Anthem and the Star-Spangled Banner, and the words are in the program as well, so you can sing.
Quando bionda aurora il matin c'indora, quando mia t'adora, Re del ciel, quando l'alpe già rosseggia, al pregare all'orta zeggia, in favor del patrio suol, in favor del patrio suol, cittadino Dio lo vuol, cittadino Dio, sì Dio lo vuol. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming in the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the
Please be seated. Tocca a te. Aspetta. Oggi ho il piacere di presentarvi il rappresentante ufficiale del municipio di Collina d'Oro, che ha dei legami speciali alla TASIS, nipote di un nostro ex collega Angelo Piattini, per anni il banchiere della scuola. Il signor Andrea Bernardazzi ha frequentato da ragazzo i programmi estivi di TASIS oltre 35 anni fa. Più recentemente anche i suoi due figli hanno frequentato il programma estivo. Laureato in architettura presso il Politecnico Federale di Zurigo, ETH, il suo studio di architettura si trova qui vicino a noi, a Certenago. Eletto in municipio nel 2016, il signor Bernardazzi dirige il Dicastero di Edilizia Privata, Pianificazione e Viabilità ed è anche presidente della Commissione Edilizia del municipio. Siamo lieti di continuare a collaborare col municipio nel cercare di mantenere e migliorare sempre questo gioiello di architettura che è la Collina d'Oro, a beneficio dei nostri studenti e della nostra comunità di Montagnola. Un caloroso benvenuto a signor Andrea Bernardazzi. Today it is my pleasure to introduce a representative of the Collina d'Oro Town Council who has special connections to TASIS, the nephew of our former colleague and school banker at TASIS, Angelo Piattini. Mr. Andrea Bernardazzi attended the TASIS summer programs as a child over 35 years ago. More recently, his own two children attended the summer programs. Holder of a degree in architecture from the ETH, the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology in Zurich. His architecture studio is located next door to us in Certenago. Elected to the Municipio in 2016, Mr. Bernardazzi currently serves as head of the Collina d'Oro Ministry of Private Building Construction and Planning and as president of the construction board. We look forward to continued collaboration with the Municipio as we strive to improve this unique jewel in the crown that is the Golden Hill for the benefit of our students and the local community. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Andrea Bernardazzi.
Gentili signore, egregi signori, cari ragazzi, ho il grande onore di portarvi il saluto dell'autorità comunale di Collina d'Oro e voglio indirizzarmi soprattutto a voi ragazze e ragazzi. La giornata di oggi, con la consegna dei diplomi, segna una grande svolta nella vostra vita. Si chiude il ciclo del liceo e se ne apre un altro accademico da un'altra parte del mondo. Spero che il periodo di vita e di studi passato qui in Collina d'Oro resti sempre nelle vostre menti e anche nei vostri cuori. E anche grazie ai vostri racconti e alle vostre esperienze personali che il nostro paese viene conosciuto nel mondo. Per questo spero che abbiate potuto visitare e conoscere le peculiarità e le caratteristiche della nostra regione, che non sono solo la città, la cultura e lo shopping, ma anche e soprattutto le montagne e la natura. Purtroppo, negli ultimi anni, le intemperie hanno causato notevoli danni a questa natura e lo scopo del nostro municipio sarà soprattutto quello di riqualificare il nostro paesaggio. Comunque, non voglio dilungarmi oltre. Oggi è la vostra festa e deve proseguire. Auguro quindi a tutti voi un futuro ricco di soddisfazioni, ricordandovi che il futuro è nelle vostre mani. Grazie.
Our commencement speaker this year is my friend, Mr. Martin Neville, Chief Executive Officer of the Swiss American Chamber of Commerce, who lives in Zurich but works throughout Switzerland to assist its 2,000 business members The Swiss American Chamber helps individuals and companies do business in Switzerland and in the USA, and has a strong role in supporting political, social, and economic ties between these two countries, the oldest functioning republics in the world. Mr. Naville holds a Master of Law degree from the University of Zurich and is also a member of the Global Advisory Board of the ETH in Zurich, regularly rated one of the top 10 universities in the world. He started his career as a banker with J.P. Morgan in Zurich and New York in 1984, spent 16 years with the Boston Consulting Group in Munich, Zurich, and New York, and took over as CEO of the Swiss American Chamber of Commerce in 2004. In addition to serving on other boards, he has held his favorite job as chairman of the board of the Zurich Zoo since 2004. Please welcome Martin Neville.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear students, sorry, I correct this, dear graduates. That's a big difference. Dear Chairwoman Lynn Fleming-Ashliman, the foundation and the soul of TASIS, and it's not for nothing that this commune is called Golina Doro. Thank you, Lynn, for the long-time friendship. Dear deans, dear professors, dear parents, family and friends of the graduates, it's a great honor for me to be here. It's also a great pleasure to speak to you on this glorious day. So thank you for this very flattering invitation. Dear graduates, you worked very hard over a very long time, and you deserve to take a day off to enjoy this true accomplishment. A day is one day, and I'll come back to this. So congratulations to you, and to all those who supported you during this time. Parents, friends, colleagues, some of them sitting here with you today to enjoy this day. And dear graduates, please do not forget to thank the parents for this great opportunity to attend this fantastic school. If I may take you back 1,000 years to medieval universities. At medieval universities, students had two tasks, ora et labora, pray and work. Well, today, many of us pray less and less. So what remains? Work. What a perspective. Now, what a great perspective. At least as long as you do it right. Work can be a job you have to perform, waiting for the clock to tick to 5:15, and then you get off to do things you really like to do, like arts or sports or family or gaming or cooking or binge watching Netflix or whatever else. Or work can be a passion. It can be a career. Doing things you really, really like that fulfills your aspiration and gives you the right rewards, emotionally, socially, and financially. And I will let you decide what kind of work is to be preferred. So this is a commencement speech. So it is customary to invite a mature lady or an elderly gentleman to dispense a cookbook of how to make most of life and career. The speech normally covers 5 important pieces of advice that seem easy to do, and the speaker knows it all, and soon you will too. Well, if that's what you expect today, bad luck. So first of all, I'm not that old, or at least I don't feel that old. And I have not discovered any of those universal truths, at least not until now. Maybe it's going to come. But then again, life is like playing golf. The moment you think you've got it, the next ball is going to go wildly astray deep into the bushes. You will never get it. So what are we to do? Especially as life is very confusing to us, but especially to the next generation. Robots and artificial intelligence will take away many of your jobs. Blockchain technology will destroy further jobs. Globalization will move the center of the business world and the jobs to Asia, and an unbalanced demographic structure will ruin the younger working population to care for the elderly. And thank you in advance for your contribution to my retirement. So at this point, dear graduates, you must think, why did I study so hard for such a long time? Why did I get out of bed every morning? And especially, why did Lynn invite this guy to talk to your commencement? And I cannot blame you, because all the developments I've just described are true, and they will become reality. Robots and artificial intelligence will eliminate many jobs. All administrative, menial jobs that can be done by robots will be done by robots. Anything that can be solved by a rule or an algorithm, like creating the optimal class schedule, whoever does that today, comparing lists for mistakes and exceptions, planning load factors on cargo planes, or auditing the books of a company can be done better and cheaper by robots and artificial intelligence. The question is not if, the question is just when. Also, any job that needs eye-hand coordination, even in very difficult environments like driving a taxi or truck, performing a standard surgery, 3D modeling, operating a construction crane, or loading a cargo ship, can be done better and cheaper by robots and artificial intelligence. The question is not if, the question is just when. And blockchain technology, designed to increase liquidity and reduce transaction costs, will revolutionize value chains, even complicated ones. Remember, reducing transaction cost implies taking out many jobs. Transaction in trade finance, real estate, art, precious metal, shares and bonds, jewelry, private planes, insurance contracts, and much more will be handled automatically on a distributed ledger instead of many, many, many ledgers that have to be managed by many, many people. The question is not if, it is just when. Oh, and yes, business will move to Asia, and the demographic structure will create some challenges in the next 50 years. But then let's take a step back. All these developments are just the new version of a very old story. These developments will do to society and economy what the printing press, the weaving machine, the steam engine, Henry Ford's production line, Stephen Jobs' personal computer, email, the World Wide Web, and Stephen Jobs' iPhone with the app technology have done to society and the economy, increase efficiency and increase wealth and the quality of life. So let us take John Smith. John Smith was born 1917 in Manchester, England. He had a life expectancy of 60 years. He went to work at his 12th birthday, 6 days per week, 10 hours per day, no vacation except religious holidays. And John only ate meat once a week. Some 45% of the people at that time were occupied in agriculture, and 35% were engaged in industry. Today, only 2% are engaged in agriculture, and less than 20% in manufacturing. Are all the others without employ? Did the Malthusians' horror vision come true? Let's take an answer. Let's take Melissa Darcy, born in Paris in 2017. She has a life expectancy of more than 80 years. She will move to, that's Melissa. She will go, she will go to school at least until 18. Melissa eats vegetables, exotic fruits all year, meat or tofu most days, and drinks clean water with fluorine additives. In those 100 years, GDP has grown sixfold, not just in the Western Europe, but also in China, in India, in Japan, and many other countries. Oh, and globalization took more than 1 billion people out of poverty and hunger. And all this in spite of some absolutely terrible catastrophes over the last 100 years, like 2 world wars, famines, and economic crises. So if the last 100 years, in spite of all those catastrophes, were so positive, why are so many people fearsome and negative regarding the next 30 years? Much has to do with a strong tendency only to look, and we're in Switzerland, to the next mountain range, and use preconceived rules of the past to try to figure out what the modern times will look like. In 1804, a Swiss, Jean-Baptiste Joseph Fourier, Napoleon's scientific advisor, wrote in a landmark piece that technological development will come to a standstill because all that can be invented, things like the gas lights, the suspended carriages, and the large guns, all that can be invented has been invented. 100 years later, people don't get wiser. In 1904, the head of the US Patent Office formally requested from US Congress that the Patent Office be abolished. You will figure out why, because everything that can be invented has been invented. In 1908, James Ward Packard, a revolutionary car inventor, said that cars will never be a mass product because there cannot be enough chauffeurs in the USA to drive all those cars. And in 1952, Thomas J. Watson, then CEO of a company called IBM, opined that computers are great technological invention but would never be a profitable business because 5 such machines can process all the data available in the USA. We could go on and on. Intelligent people taking yesterday's knowledge, extrapolating to the future and coming to conclusions that sound absurd from today's point of view. So if you want to have a secure and great career, we need to make better prediction, right? Good luck. A quote attributed to Yogi Berra, the famous baseball player, says, "It's difficult to make predictions, especially about the future." And on a side note, the quote has also been attributed to the famous scientist Niels Bohr. So either Yogi Berra stole it from Niels Bohr or vice versa, we don't know. The only thing we know about the future, it will be very different from today. Intelligent medicine, cloud computing, facial recognition, driverless cars and trucks, delivery of Amazon within an hour per drones, new forms of energy, and many other things will make our lives better. Or maybe not, we don't know. But being ready for the future will be much less about one specific knowledge, but it will be about your personality. And I promised I will not bring 5 cookbook advices, because I only have 4. So the only safe bet for the future is the growing need for human contact. Persuading a person to engage and buy, enabling different people to work together efficiently, caring for people in need, teaching kids and adults, those are activities that will not go away. Great social skills will become more important than ever. Social skills across cultures, across social groups, across different situations will be your ticket for the next 30 years. Strategic and creative thinking will be key, because that will never be replaced by robots. So readiness to learn new things, to learn constantly, to question traditional truth, to try out new things and to think out of the box will position you right. You can only do if you stay curious and courageous for the next 70 years. And then being comfortable with ambiguity and unpredictability will be necessary, and the real assets if you like it. The old saying, fail fast, try again, will be more actual than ever. And then we all know the ultimate truth. The young of today are lazy and preoccupied with themselves, and they will surely cause the downfall of the world as we know it. That must be correct. The young of today are lazy and preoccupied with themselves, because those 4 words were found carved on the side of the tomb of a famous pharaoh some 3,500 years ago. And this seeming wisdom was repeated over and over. The Greeks said the young cannot think, cannot write. When I went to university, the last generation said, oh, the young generation is not equipped for the future because they can't read and write. And a lot of people will say again and again. And so the only cookbook rule that I would really put to your heart is do not listen to us fools. You are the great generation, and we're counting on you to save our culture, our values, and maybe, hopefully also, our world. And now you will say, okay, how do I take all this theoretical stuff and make a great life out of this? And you're right to say this, because coming out of school is a bit daunting. And I have to admit, I have no clue. I will give you my story in short. So I studied law in Zurich, part of an elaborate plan? No. I had no idea what I wanted to do, and so law seemed a good and open option. And why Zurich? My sport, that was squash at the time, and maybe also a very nice young lady. So after law master, and that will repeat itself, I had no idea what to do. Banking, insurance, auditing, consulting, I mean, what does a banker do all day? You ask yourself, I didn't know either. So I met a friend in a disco. A disco is what we called clubs at that time. On a Saturday evening, he told me he was leaving the next day to New York on a JP Morgan program. I applied on Monday and followed 3 months later. And then 4 years later, I was bored as a corporate banker. And I had no idea what to do with my life. So a friend, a BCG, tried to encourage me to apply to BCG, Boston Consulting Group, a strategy firm. I had a very negative opinion of consultants, and so I said no. And then he followed up with an invitation to a great party, and the condition was that afterwards I would go and interview. So I did it, and then for 16 years I traveled the world with a total excitement. And then we come to the end of the story soon. When I was in the mid-40s, I became a member of BCG's Order of the Gray Bear. This is the oldest percentage of the company. This is a nice little indication that it's time to go at 45. Huh? And I didn't really know what to do. That's the red line. I checked dozens of opportunities, none in lobbying or economic policy, until a friend, my predecessor, CEO of the Swiss American Chamber of Commerce, talked me into applying. And I've had the pleasure of this great, interesting, fascinating job in economic policy and lobbying for 15 years and counting. I'm not there yet. I turned 60, but I am not finished yet. If that sounds like a straight line, well, it is not. It was always accompanied by a lot of doubts, fears, uncertainty, but for me, it came out right. So what's my advice to you? Well, my advice is learn fishing. Because life is like fishing. Do some analysis on the meteorology, the water specificity, and the fish behavior. And then throw in your line. If you don't throw in your line, you don't catch fish. Oh, and don't throw in one line. Throw in hundreds. I would call this an option game. And people will be your fishing rods and your options. Talk to as many people as possible. Oh yes, and do start with the parents. They're not totally ignorant. But then go to friends, go to alums of the school, go to anybody you can talk to, and you will get the options. But you need 100 rods in the water. In the future, we will see less and less technical experts. These functions will all be taken over by robots and artificial intelligence. We will again need many, many baroque, what I call baroque people with knowledge in a large number of fields, being able to bring together various ideas, various people, and various processes. And what a great perspective, especially for you. The education at TASIS has given you everything you need. You got new perspectives, you broke old assumptions, you learned new things about the world, you learned a lot, you got to know a lot of people from all over the world, and you have hopefully also gotten the courage to be bold and be outside the norm. But today is not the end. It is just the beginning of the grand parkour. So never stop to be curious, courageous, and have the courage to look way beyond the next mountain range, not just to the next mountain range. In closing, you will soon go out of here, have lunch, have a drink, enjoy the day, and forget everything I said. No problem. Just remember one thing. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is mystery. Today is a gift. This is why we call it present. Thank you very much. Congratulations to the graduates.
We will now present the academic awards. We will begin with the Fine Arts Department, and I will call to the podium the Chair of the Fine Arts Department, Mr. Martin Dukes.
Good morning. Art is a language through which every artist hopes to find a voice. And for over 60 years, the arts at TASIS have been the means by which countless students have been able to give expression to this idea. It allows them to communicate through images, sounds, and stories, and through art, the written word, music, and much, much more. But I'll begin with art. Excellence in art. I've taught this student since she arrived at TASIS and had the privilege of watching her grow as an artist. As an accomplished and outstanding painter, she's both direct and honest, and, by her own admission, sometimes a little stubborn. The latter is a very useful characteristic, however, and through it she shows unwavering perseverance in realizing her ideas, one of the hallmarks of the successful artist. I wish her well for next September as she takes her next steps into the exciting world of art and design. Can I ask you therefore to join with me as we congratulate Stanislava Kesanova on being the recipient of this year's graduation award, Excellence in Art. Bertha Seifert Award for Excellence in Music. The recipient of the Bertha Seifert Award for Excellence in Music is a student with a special gift. This student arrived at TASIS in the 9th grade and since then has continued to develop her musical and vocal skills. And she's been busy, very busy, participating as a soloist and a chorister, taking a lead role in a spring musical and leading a cappella choir. This student has blossomed and today is not only a dedicated musician, but also a truly gifted performer. In support of this talent, she's been a constant member of both the choir and music theatre classes, through which it has become evident that her humility prevents the desire to showcase herself. This young lady has met every performing challenge and the opportunities offered by them. And in doing so, she's proved to be a highly competent and creative young musician, one who is supportive of her peers and a model student in the music program. Her kindness and generosity, sincerity and reliability will continue to serve her well as she moves on next year. For her outstanding talent and dedication, it's our pleasure to give the 2019 Bertha Seifert Award for Excellence in Music to Lauren Reba. The Horst Durschmidt Award for Excellence in Photography. The recipient of this year's Photography Award is the kind of photographer who works slowly and deliberately, using the camera as a tool to achieve and communicate personal vision. In a world where almost everyone carries a device that can make photos in every moment, and where the photograph most often taken is of oneself, this kind of deliberate work seems almost quaint and old-fashioned. This student's passion led her to find ways to work away from TASIS during the summer and on weekends, where she could realize her ideas and practice her craft. The teacher's job in this case was to stay out of the way and allow the student to pursue the process and make the eventual discoveries that come with hard work. More discoveries will come as she continues to practice and pursue her vision and the craft of photography at university. The 2019 Horst Durschmidt Photography Award goes to Ashley Sartorelli. The Kay Hamblin Excellence in Theatre Award. The Kay Hamblin Excellence in Theatre Award is presented to a student who consistently demonstrates a love for and a dedication to the dramatic arts and knows that respect, collaboration, hard work, and joy are the cornerstones of the successful production. Since arriving last August, this student thespian has, in just one short year, made a mighty impact on the TASIS theatre community. She plunged immediately into the rigor and fellowship of IB Theatre, the fall play, the spring musical, and even the recent dance concert. Each in turn met with an eager readiness to learn, a desire to achieve, and exhibiting competence and artistry at the highest levels. She's been a designer and technician, actor and scholar, and even teacher. So it comes as no surprise to learn that she has a summer internship at a professional theatre and plans to continue her studies in sound at university. For her love of the stage, her commitment to the theatre and its community, and her self-motivated growth in all areas of the dramatic arts, this year's Theatre Award goes to Samantha Walker. And finally, in the arts, the award for architecture. This year's recipient of the Excellence in Architecture and Design Award possesses creative strengths spanning the traditional divide between the humanities and the hard sciences. On the artistic side, her interests include literature and art history, in addition to her chosen career path of architecture. She has distinguished herself in both architecture and art history, receiving the highest grades in her imaginative deep designs and higher level thinking. An accomplished musician and sportswoman, this student is truly multifaceted and excels on all levels. This year's award winner is Virginia Italia.
This year's recipient of the English as an Additional Language Award has distinguished himself for his diligence, enthusiasm, and commitment to learning. Among the best prepared for his IB English class every day, he was at the top of the class in almost every aspect of his performance. With humility, persistence, and determination, he produced essays and made contributions to class that demonstrated a remarkable degree of acuity, maturity, and genuine interest in the topic at hand. Setting high goals for himself, his natural intellectual curiosity was always in evidence, along with a sincere desire to make his learning meaningful on a personal as well as on a scholarly level. This desire and determination to engage himself fully in the learning process not only enhanced his own progress, but also enhanced the learning of those around him. It is for these reasons that the English as an Additional Language Department bestows its award for excellence in English as an Additional Language to Danil Fyodorov.
The 2019 Cynthia Wisnett Award for Excellence in English Literature. There are writers and thinkers for whom literature is as much an act of generosity as it is an act of imagination, discipline, and curiosity. The student we honor here today never trades on the currency of his talents, never treats his talents as expedients or emblems of vanity. This student's acts of interpretation and imagination, while eloquent, nuanced, and wise, are always fixed on higher and nobler intents. The range of this student's passions is awe-inspiring. There is the potent IB extended essay, the best I've ever read, that explored the role friendship played combating historical and mythic evils in J.R.R. Tolkien's life and work. There is the film of Shakespeare's Macbeth, so powerfully directed and conceived, it received the plaudits of no less a figure than the screenwriter for the most recent Hollywood version of Macbeth, starring Michael Fassbender and Marion Cotillard. There are the essays in honors world literature and IB higher level literature that bespeak a spirit of inquiry and moral concern we too rarely see today. Needless to say, there is the documentary exposé of competitive tic-tac-toe. For the truth, beauty, and goodness that this student legitimately infuses into his literary and into his broader creative pursuits, the TASIS English Department is proud to honor Alex Sachilmish with the 2019 Cynthia Wisnett Award for Excellence in English.
Good morning. The Award for Excellence in Mother Languages recognizes the achievement of a student who has undertaken a study in at least 2 of the 5 languages offered at TASIS. This year's recipient of the Mother Language Award goes to a student who has excelled in both the IB Italian A Language and Literature and the IB Spanish B high-level programs. By the time he got to his junior year, he had acquired such a high level of proficiency in Italian that he was able to qualify for the IB Italian Language and Literature course. His interpretive abilities are remarkable, and he's quick to identify narrative and poetic elements of literary text that elude most readers. For this reason, his argumentation and his analysis are often brilliant, creative, and profound. Mr. Dazzo, his Italian teacher, taught him for 3 years, during which time he grew to appreciate him not only for his fine qualities as a scholar, but also for his noble character. Miss Simona, his Spanish teacher, wrote, "One of the qualities that stands out in this student is his intellectual curiosity and genuine desire to learn, intelligent, cultivated, modest, and open-minded. This student not only incorporates the most complex grammatical structures and vocabulary into his language production, but also writes with accuracy and depth of thought that reflects a maturity beyond his years." Our award goes to a student who lives his life with enthusiasm, kindness, and humor, qualities that he applies not only to his studies, but which are also evident when he is interacting with his peers. His love of filmmaking is well known at TASIS, and I believe he has been writing a compelling script of his life. The 2019 Mother Language Department Award goes to Alexander Sechilmis.
The Excellence in History Award is presented every year to students who have excelled over their 4 years or however long they've been at TASIS in the study of history. This student has been one of the most imaginative and creative history students her current teacher has known since he first met her in the 9th grade. During her first year of high school, this student showed her teacher a project that she had done in the 5th grade on the Byzantine Empire in the 6th century. It took the form of a tourist brochure inviting people to visit Byzantium. Its combination of a foundation of hard work and a light-hearted original touch is characteristic of this student's best work. As a senior, she not only wrote a good handful of excellent essays demonstrating that she fully understood what the IB Diploma program demands of students, she also completed 2 longer pieces of written work in history, her historical investigation or internal assessment, and her extended essay. Both were on events important in the history of her native country, Poland. One was the role of the Polish king Jan Sobieski in defeating the Ottoman assault on Austria in 1683, the other on the role of Polish aviators in the Battle of Britain in 1940. Normally, IB history teachers discourage students from doing these longer works on their own countries to avoid any bias. In this student's case, that caution was not necessary. Her teacher was pleased but not surprised to find that she was well able to separate her patriotic enthusiasm from the subject matter from her obligations as a student of history. Few professional historians always maintain such a fine balance between emotional reasons for pursuing a subject and their duty to make disinterested judgments. This student well deserves the top award TASIS gives in history, and her teachers look forward to what will sure to be an interesting career. This year's award for history excellence in history goes to Aurelia Dochnal. The Ambassador's Cup for Excellence in U.S. History is presented every year to students who excel in American history. For this year's student, advanced placement history classes are, as for everyone, a marathon requiring both stamina and a sprint requiring that students be able to absorb a large amount of data very quickly. This year's Ambassador's Cup for Excellence in U.S. History winner was able to maintain both mindsets through to the finish of the class, combining the reading abilities of an advanced critical thinker, a drive to better understand such complex convolutions in U.S. history as the Vietnam War, a natural curiosity that inspired illuminating questions, and a dogged desire to get better at detailed, on-demand historical writing. This student's track record kept her not only at the top of her class this year, but predicts that she will have top marks on the Advanced Placement United States History test. It is with admiration and appreciation for her efforts that this year's Ambassador's Cup for Excellence in U.S. History goes to Heather Hines.
The 2019 Shah Akbar Khan Award for Excellence in Mathematics. Every year, the Department of Mathematics has the task of choosing its top student from a very talented group of seniors. It goes without saying that we value accuracy and a penetrating intellect along with broad mathematical experience. This year's winner demonstrated excellence in both the AP and the IB programs and produced a remarkable essay on optimizing the launch angle for the flight of a baseball to maximize the probability of hitting it out of the park. This year's Department of Mathematics, the Department of Mathematics is pleased to give this year's Shah Akbar Khan Award for Excellence in Mathematics to Min Jun Seo.
Well, it was another difficult year for science. How to choose one graduation award. So we didn't do it. We chose two. Both students have had a very heavy science schedule, with IB higher level chemistry and IB higher level biology. And despite the incredible demands of these subjects, both rose to the challenge and did incredibly well, achieving level 7s on topic tests and the mock exam, hopefully for the real thing too. They better had, I have some champagne waiting, and I don't want to drink it on my own. They were incredibly alert during lessons, asking very searching and informed questions, and both were involved with helping out with laboratory preparation. Their fascination with the innate complexity of biological systems and the interaction of the molecules involved has always been very apparent. Their IB individual assessments illustrated creative thinking and excellent analysis. They will continue with their scientific studies at university. One will study biochemistry and the other medicine. We are incredibly proud of their continued motivation and their success in science. And it is my honor to announce this year's winners of the Excellence in Science Award. Remember, there are two. To Min Jun Seo and Eduardo Cami.
The Salutatorian Scholarship Award. The Salutatorian is the graduating senior considered to have the second highest academic performance after no less than 2 years at TASIS. Of course, this year's Salutatorian has always been a top student who is intellectually engaged, crafts impeccable work, works diligently, possesses exemplary organizational and study habits, and rarely makes a careless mistake. All of this is true, but our Salutatorian offers something more. Beyond earning stellar grades and a close to perfect academic transcript while engaging in a rigorous course of study, teachers report that he is a true pleasure to learn with. They describe him as a student who is lucid and nuanced, insightful and articulate, energetic and informed, detailed and astute, vigorous and precise. Teachers also comment that he is almost always the most enthusiastic member of any class, a student who provokes thoughtful, passionate discussions, serves to elevate lessons, and does it all with unique humor and personality. I'm proud to present the 2019 Salutatorian Scholarship Award to Kazi Zaidan Rahman. The honor of being the valedictorian is based on superior academic performance over not less than 2 years of study at TASIS. The school considers academic achievement, the rigor of the academic program followed, and the number of courses completed. This year's valedictorian is deeply and sincerely committed to academic excellence and has distinguished himself among his 4 years of study at TASIS in all academic areas. As a full IB diploma student with a robust and rigorous course load, he has earned predicted 7s in all of his courses, which of course is the highest mark possible, and he has earned a perfect transcript, displaying highest honors every year. In fact, even back in grade 10, prior to engaging in the IB, he not only danced with Dr. Love in Honors World Literature, he also enrolled in Miss Bench's AP Calculus class and earned a perfect score. When I was meeting with the department chairs and teachers to discuss this student's candidacy for the Valedictorian Award, the comments shared were such as, simply, he is one of the top students I have ever encountered in all my years of teaching, and he's just on another level. This is the guy who, we found out from Mr. Ogilvy, hit it out of the park. I'm proud to announce this year's valedictorian, Min Jun Seo.
I am pleased to present the 2019 Headmasters Award. When we think of the ideals that TASIS sets for itself, we can state with confidence that there are none this student does not instantiate. Ceaselessly ungrudging, congenial, and reflective, he maintains an exuberant spirit and constructive sense of humor that speaks to his sense of fellowship and balance. He demonstrates on a daily basis a love of learning for its own sake, often volunteering to research, write, and create beyond what is required or prompted. Bilingual in English and Turkish, the student also studies Italian and Spanish at the highest levels. What is more impressive, though, are the friendly and creative ways that he has fostered a spirit of internationalism in the TASIS community and beyond. Through his film productions, his participation in the Nepal Service Learning Group, his love of cross-language puns, his enthusiasm for running and track, and his passion for reading, he evinces and elicits a wisdom we have rarely seen in adults, much less in high school students. The student stretches himself as a public figure, directing movies, giving speeches, participating in class, and leading his fellow students. On his second day of high school in the fall of 2015, this student broke his arm, and badly. Only after months of medical care and physical rehabilitation was he able to return to the sports and activities he loved. What we saw during these months was a 15-year-old who smiled through the pain and never complained. This person, his fellow students know, is the person we faculty know. With grace and aplomb, this student engages fellow human beings with personal responsibility, civility, compassion, justice, and truth. We could quote language at random from TASIS's foundation documents. They would be apposite to this student's achievements, character, and contributions. For his nobility of character, his wide-ranging intellectual curiosity, his always affable wit, and his unfailing generosity, we are proud to confer the 2019 TASIS Headmasters Award on Alex Sachilmish. The ECIS Award for International Understanding. This prestigious annual award is sponsored by the European Council of International Schools, which specifies that the recipient must be a good representative of his or her own country, with a positive attitude towards the life and culture of others, able to converse in at least 2 languages, a contributing force in the life of the school, with the ability to bring differing people together into a sense of community, thus furthering the cause of international understanding. This year's ECIS Award recipient is a quiet member of our school community who always shows a very positive attitude towards other cultures and socializes with mixed groups of students. He speaks Korean and English and is able to converse in Spanish, representing a global citizen who understands and respects similarities and differences of individuals and is always concerned about world issues. He is a consistent, positive presence on campus, and even during his IB exams, he found the time to participate in all school events, even those where his attendance was not required. He has excelled in his service learning group, Ethiopia Nuovo Fiore, being in charge for the past 2 years of all activities, including fundraising, creating posters, and conducting surveys, just to mention a few. I am proud to announce that the recipient of the 2019 ECS Award for International Understanding is Minjun Seao. The Jan Opsel Service Award. This award recognizes students for whom the school community comes before self. In the past, this award has acknowledged students who contributed to the school community and to the life beyond the call of duty. Faculty members are asked to be especially mindful of students who may be giving of themselves in quiet, unobtrusive ways. Here is what the faculty had to say about this year's recipient. She is a quiet but strong presence at TASIS. She is extremely helpful in her role as a proctor and ceaselessly goes out of her way to listen and to help fellow students. She maintains a bottomless reservoir of empathy for those around her and is compassionate when others need compassion. She actively reflects on herself and her circumstances as a way of thinking about others. She does not take her good fortune for granted, but rather thinks about how she can use it to help others. Her humility is genuine, and her desire to give to others is genuine. Nothing she ever chose to do while at TASIS was done merely to bolster or strengthen her university applications. TASIS would benefit from recruiting 300 of her. For all this and more, I am proud to announce the winner of the 2019 Jan Opsel Service Award to Youngkyung Irene Lee. Michael Ukesteiner Leadership Award. This award recognizes the student or students who have shown initiative, creativity, and disinterested involvement in making our school a better place to study and to live in. Student council, committee, or student activity work may qualify a student. The award generally has been given to a student recognized as a leader in the furthering of TASIS goals and ideals by both the students and the faculty. This year's recipient of the Michael Ukesteiner Leadership Award has been described by faculty members and peers as simply a wonderful person. She is thoroughly genuine, sincere, and in all she does, she goes all in with both head and heart. She is a leader in the classroom, in the dorms, on the courts, and on the stage. She is mature, respectful, considerate, hardworking, and impressive. Simply put, she is a bright and radiant example of the attributes, qualities, and virtues that this community values. I am proud to announce the winner of the 2019 Michael Ukesteiner Leadership Award to Maria Veronica Ramos Romero. The H. Miller Christ Award. The highest recognition accorded by the TASIS faculty, this award is given to the senior who, by his or her actions, academic and otherwise, best embodies or pursues the ideals, aspirations, and goals of the school. In many ways, the awards combine the stipulations of the Service and Leadership Awards with an expectation of academic excellence. This year's H. Miller Christ Award recipient is a person who fosters a passion for excellence along with mutual respect and understanding. She takes personal responsibility by being her own advocate in everything she does. She is thoroughly compassionate and honest, and she has a sense of justice exceeding expectations in all her efforts. Whether it is toward dorm duties, academics, sports, service learning, or the arts. She is a solid academic student involved in the AP curriculum with her teachers describing her as follows. She is an absolute pleasure to have in class, and her positivity, pleasantness, and genuine kindness enrich every encounter. She goes above and beyond on every assignment and always tries her best. She always helps other students in the class. She continues to show her sincere commitment to the arts despite all of her busy academics, proctoring, and sports activities. Our recipient has served TASIS as head dorm proctor for the past 2 years. She was praised by the Director of Residential Life as exceeding every expectation I had of her, and I would like to keep her as head proctor going forward. If I could retire a number like they do in sports, I would retire hers. I want to bottle up what she has brought to this community and then show upcoming head proctors how it is done. Her dorm parents describe her as highly respectful and respected, noting that they feel incredibly fortunate to have her as a proctor. When she is on duty, she provides invaluable help to her dorm parents, who have particularly appreciated her input in helping the new members of the dorm community settle into life. She has developed wonderful friendships with others and always shows understanding, sensitivity, and kindness in her interactions. The words of her advisor are echoed by the community. She is the embodiment of the TASIS ideals and goals. No matter which road she chooses to walk down, she will make a difference in a positive way to that community, just like she has here for the past 4 years at TASIS. It should also be noted that this student was nominated by the faculty for every other major award this year, and that last year, as a junior, some faculty members forwarded her as a candidate for this award, even though it must go to a senior. They simply thought that highly of her. I could not be prouder to announce this year's recipient of the H. Miller Christ Award, Maria Veronica Ramos Romero. So no stranger to the stage, it's my honor to welcome to the stage our 2019 valedictorian, Minjun Seao.
It's very nerve-wracking here. Good morning to all who can make it here today, and welcome to TASIS graduation ceremony for the class of 2019. I know it's very hot here, but please join me in giving a round of applause for all students, teachers, parents, faculties, and guests. We, together, made it through the rough series of IB, AP, and other TASIS senior exams. Let me ask a question. After all those ironic walks to Kajoya, the house of uphill joy, all the coffees we drank for preparing exams, all the neocessions we downed from the nurses, all the food delivered from Devora and Speedy Pizza, after all the detentions, what made me a confident, yes, a happy person you see in front of you? And what is it that we'll pack in our suitcases of our minds, heading off for bright and still obscure futures? Do you remember when, at least I remember when, in the first year, when we all walked into high school for the first time? We all went and dreamt about how we would celebrate after we finished school. I don't know how many of you remember what you planned in 9th grade to do after graduation. We were so young, we basically knew nothing about what was going to happen in the next 4 years. I remember my very first Spanish class. I knew nothing about Spanish when I walked into that class. I didn't know how to answer any of the questions. I had no self-esteem. I was so scared, and all I said was sí or no. And now, 4 years later, when asked a pregunta in español, I, proudly, can still answer in sí or no. Me, also, waking up to Dr. Love's beautiful prose, let me correct that, yelling at 6 in the morning when we're supposed to leave for basketball tournament at 5:30 was another almost terrifying event. Senioritis and procrastination defined this year pretty well. We all had those days when we say, oh, I'll study in 5 minutes. And we check our phone, procrastinate for a solid hour, then recognizing how much work there is to be done and stressing even more of the overdue works. Oh well. If you ask me what I've learned this year, I could definitely claim I've learned to procrastinate properly. Well, even with procrastination, on a positive note, we all made it through exams. Listening to Mr. Stickley saying, does anyone have unauthorized materials in his or her possessions? And yes, Mr. Stickley, I do not need you to send the recorded file over summer break. Well, no more stressing over the past and worrying about what we already did. So, what did we gain out of past events? The class of 2019, I can arrogantly claim, will be the most remarkable class in TASIS history. We, as a class of 2019, have outstanding achievements in academics and sports, as we all know. We have seen outstanding achievements also in the arts and music, from the famous tic-tac-toe series, to the elegant paintings, outstanding guitarists, and the beloved flautist. We're ready to plunge into the world, ready to find ourselves a life to live. So, if you ask me what I've learned from 4 years of studying TASIS, apart from academics, I can say, with confidence, 2 words. You can surely guess them already. Confidence and positivity. These words, in my own handwriting, graced in a single paper, taped to the wall, looming by my desk. But these words follow me to Ethiopia. There I was, in an elementary school in Addis Ababa, standing before hundreds of children, hanging on my words. It was truly nerve-wracking. I was away from home in a completely foreign country. Yet, I was the first one to eagerly approach and teach the kids. I was excited. The kids welcomed me with their vibrant smiles, with their pure eyes. They smiled at every word. Even knowing their name made them happy. Looking back now, with a positive attitude, all the events seem to be something fun and memorable. Even Mr. Oguvi going dotty with his diagrams in chemistry class, and the legendary Zurich academic travel, I no longer, so to speak, hibernate. I've changed. I am, in fact, positive and confident. So, we, the leaders, the class of 2019, are the leaders of the new generation in the 21st century. Who cares if life can be difficult? We haven't started anything yet. We still have many more years to enjoy, laugh, and love. Just like I wrote on my hand in these heady years at TASIS, I'll write them again. Confidence and positivity. Thank you.
Mrs. Eshelman, Mr. Nikolov, I have the honor to present to you, on behalf of the faculty of the American School in Switzerland, the class of 2019. They have fulfilled the requirements of the prescribed academic program, and I request that you award them their diplomas. Rafaela Alencar Barros. Anna Alyakina. Lillian Angeloni. Sofia Artemieva. Thais Katerina Bird. Zoe Elena Brauckley. Audrey Daniela Carrillo Quintero. Eleonora Comelli. Valentina Correa da Silva. Maria Jose Cortina Coyer. Maria Antonia Costa Pereira. I'd like to welcome up to the stage class of 1992 TASIS alum Barbara Aramont to present the diploma to her stepdaughter. Valentina de Villalonga Martin. Right? Well done. Carlotta Dini. Aurelia Rita Docknall. Maria Dodd. Ilgen Urbas. Christina Cecilia Estevez Benedetti. Natasha Veronica Guanya. Olivia Geraldine Pepping Hanzo. Anna Hibai. Heather Lee Hines. Tamra Illich. Virginia Anna Clorinda Rosaria Italia. Alexandra Candel. Esma Karuv. Heidi Keller. Catherine Rose Kelly. Diana Kasanova. Stanislava Kirsanova. Roxalana Kozak. Yongkong Irene Lee. Isabella Sophia Lima Felipe. Cecilia Long. Karinale Muna Luaki. Teresa Maria Maneski. Maria Victoria Masi. Michelle Catherine McKay. Christina Merkulova. Yulia Sergeyevna Mochalnikova. Maria Vittoria Morao Clementi. Esther Charlotte Mullen. Thariani Nasir Hearns. Mocha Ogura. Sophia Pesci. Lisa Maria Pimentel Diaz Bronco. Sarah Pisa. Alexandra Ann Pohl. Gabriela Cristina Polito Ruiseco. Michelle Ryover.
Maria Veronica Ramos Romero. Refilwa Lauren Reba. Eve Margaret Ryan. Arujan Sarsanova. Ashley Sartorelli. Charlotte Staubach. Alexandra Center. Margarita Uclena. Sofia Vlasova. Samantha Walker. Jai Wang. Tanyi Wei. Desiree Wilkinson. Jahao Shi. Mariko Yamada. Pavel Angelov. Adam Niall Anwar. Timur Babayev. Lovenesh Bardwaj. Ricardo Borghese. Eduardo Caimi. Filippo Giuseppe Cipollini. Uze Chismeji. Erin Dana. Zeno De Angeli. Daniil Fedorov. Tomas Fresconia. Jacob Galmarini. Artem Getman. Mikhail Shahid Hamid. Ruyang Hong. Stevan Ivanov. Jem Kaprulu. Philip Angel Larsen Sakuyu. Herkis Mendagas Marcin Cavajus. Gad Marconi. Igor Noggin. Darius Pavel. Daniil Poznyakov. Andres Polito Ruiseco. Kazi Zayden Rahman. John Alexander Russo III. Alexander Shape. Alexander Sishilmish. Minjun Seo. Ozan John Sher. Cesar Tahirolu. Nadir Timurbiayev. Giuseppe Carlo Maria Tola. Zichao Yang. Philip Bartosz Zabilski. Ladies and gentlemen, TASIS families, I present to you the graduating class of 2019.
Make me a channel of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me bring your love. Where there is injury, your pardon, Lord. And where there's doubt, true faith in you. O Master, grant that I may never seek so much to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love with all my soul. Make me a channel of your peace. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned, in giving of ourselves that we receive, and in dying that we're born to eternal life.